Hi, my name is Elaine, and I am from Lions New Media Center in Mills Memorial Library. In this tutorial video, I'm going to show you how you can quickly edit an audio recording using Audacity, which is a free and open source audio editing software. I'm going to show you how to remove unwanted sections from your audio recording, apply a noise reduction, normalize audio levels, and add additional audio such as sound effects or music to your project. And then we'll export our audio project as a standalone audio file. Before we dive into the actual audio editing tutorial, I just want to bring your attention to a guide to at-home media, which is a LibGuide on the McMaster Library website. There's a section on audio editing that contains a getting started checklist of a few housekeeping items you should complete before you dive into your audio editing project. Some key items here are to create a backup of your audio files, of your unedited audio files, just in case something happens that you'll have something to go back to. And another key item is to put on headphones when you edit your audio instead of relying on your computer speakers. Another section in this LibGuide is called the audio editing checklist. And this breaks down common steps in the audio editing process and lists them in the order that they should be completed. So this is a good spot to check if you don't remember where to begin in your audio editing project. So now with Audacity open, we can import our audio recording either through the file menu, so file, import audio, or you can just drag and drop your audio file into this dark gray area. All right, there I have my audio file, and I can listen to it by clicking on the play button at the top, and you can pause it by clicking on the pause button, and so on. So the first step to do is to give your audio file a listen and cut out sections that you want to remove. So I'll start playing my audio file, and then I'll pause at a section that I'll want to remove.
Hi there, I'm Rhonda, manager of the Lions New Media Center. This room is our media production studio.
So just for an example, say I wanted to remove where Rhonda says, "This room is our media production studio." I'll just click and drag out to highlight that section. You can either hit delete on your keyboard, or you can select this cut button. There you go. Now that section is removed, and you can complete that process through your whole audio track. Sometimes you might need to zoom in. So you can do that by clicking on that zoom tool. And then you can click on where you want to zoom in. And if you have to zoom out, you hold down Shift on your keyboard, and then the little plus sign in your zoom tool turns into a minus, and you can click to zoom out. So what you'll notice about audio waves is that each wave is like a word or a phrase. It's small at the beginning and it tapers down at the end because that's the way we talk. Our loudest point is usually in the middle of a word. So when you use the selection tool to select areas to cut, make sure you are selecting a whole like waveform instead of going in the middle of a word. So by using the zoom tool and zooming in, you'll be able to get an accurate selection to delete, because you don't want to delete mid-word or else that just won't sound very good. So once you have gone through your whole audio recording and got rid of all the stuff you need to get rid of, now would be the time to apply a noise reduction. Sometimes this isn't needed But a noise reduction will get rid of if you have like a humming going on in the background, maybe um, your furnace is blowing air and that's being recorded. Just any background noise that you want to get rid of. So how to do this is that you'll zoom in at a section that looks quiet, and you'll go there to listen back. And if you hear a background noise there, you'll want to highlight it. And then you'll go to Effect, and then go to Noise Reduction. And the first step is to get a noise profile. So this is just telling the audio software, this is the noise that I'd like you to remember. And then in the step 2, we'll tell the software to reduce that noise that I told you to remember from the whole track. So you click Get, with that section highlighted, you click Get Noise Profile. And to just like test out the effectiveness of the noise reduction, highlight a little bit of when someone's talking, including where you gathered that noise profile. And we'll just go to Effect, Noise Reduction again. And we'll just apply the noise reduction to that little section just to see if it's going to apply it well. So you can preview what it'll sound like by clicking on that preview button.
We have a light box available for your use.
And if that sounds good, then you can just hit cancel, because we don't really want to apply it to this section. We're just kind of testing it out to see how the noise reduction does. But if you're finding that there's still a lot of noise, you can still hear a lot when people are talking, you can increase the noise reduction with this slider here. I wouldn't increase it too much though, because what happens is sometimes the audio editing software can't differentiate between noise and voice, so it'll start cutting out some of the person's voice. So if it does that, then you'll want to reduce the noise reduction. So once you have, and then if you preview it again,
we have a light box available.
And if it sounds good, then just like cancel out of here. And we'll want to select the whole track. So you can either just zoom out to see everything and then select it all, or you can just hit Control A and it'll select all. And then we'll go back to our effect and then do noise reduction. And then it should have those settings that you had set before. If it doesn't, just type in the numbers that you had, and then you'll hit OK. And then a little box popped up that said applying noise reduction. It went away really fast on my end because this is only a 35-second audio file, but maybe yours is like 10 minutes, so it might take a bit longer. All right, so if you listen back,
the room is equipped with camera equipment.
Hopefully you don't hear that background noise anymore. So once you've completed a noise reduction, if you needed to do so, next you'll want to normalize your audio levels. So sometimes when you do a recording, one person will be speaking really quietly and then another person will be really loud. So a normalization will normalize the audio levels so that they're more equal, and so it's not super quiet and then super loud. So to do that, you'll want to select all of your audio, and then you'll go to Effect, and then we'll go to Normalize. And in this in that little text field box, you'll want to keep it at -1 decibel, because decibels is a unit of measurement for audio waves. And doing this means that you're not going to make the audio the loudest it can be. There will be a little bit of like headroom so that it's not super loud, but it's still a good loudness, is -1 decibels. So you'll hit OK, and you'll see that your audio waves kind of they look more uniform now, and there's about 1 decibel of headroom at the top and the bottom of the waves. Now, to add some background music, you can just drag and drop your music file right below your audio recording track. All right, here's my music track. And say, for instance, I only want the music to play at the beginning of my audio recording. I'm just going to select the time shift tool. I'm going to move my audio recording over a bit. I'll go back to my selection tool to play the beginning of my music track. All right, so right about here where I pause it is where I'd like it to start fading out. So I don't want the background music to play through the whole audio recording, because sometimes repetitive background music can be distracting. And also it's if your audio recording is like 10 minutes long, it's a struggle to get your music to seamlessly loop for 10 minutes. So I'm just going to highlight the rest of my audio track, music track, and I'll delete it. And then right when my audio recording starts, I'm going to highlight the little tail end of my music, and I'll do a fade out effect. So if we listen back,
Hi there, I'm Rhonda.
so maybe I'll want to do that at the tail end of my audio recording, so we can drag and drop our music file as another track. Right, so here I have it again. I will just focus on the end of my audio. So I'm just going to delete a big chunk of the beginning. And then I'm going to time shift it over to near the end of my audio recording. Then I will use the selection tool to highlight the end bit. And then I'll do an effect, and I'll do a fade in. We'll see what that sounds like.
How to book it or any other services that Lions has to offer.
All right, that doesn't sound good. So I am going to actually listen back to that music again and try to hear a part that I think might be good to fade in from.
Lions has to offer.
I think that's where it'll start. So I'm going to delete that. Then I'll do a longer fade in, and I'll move that over. Let's see how that sounds.
How to book it or any other services that Lions has to offer.
All right, that's not bad. If you find your music a little bit too loud, like it's competing too much with your audio recording, you can lower the gain of tracks. So I'll do that over here. I'll lower it to -7 on both of them for consistency. And we shall listen back to see what that sounds like.
Book it or any other services that Lions has to offer.
That sounds a lot better. Now we're ready to export this. So to do that, you'll just go to File, Export, and you might want to check with where you're uploading what file type to export as. If it has to be a super high quality audio file, then choose WAV, WAV. But if you're just sharing this online to submit as an assignment, so you need something a little bit more compressed, so choose an MP3. And then you just figure out where you're saving it and then give it a name. And then you can hit save. So it's just giving you a little warning saying that your tracks are going to be mixed down and exported as one stereo file, which is what we want. Hit OK. You can add some metadata tags to this if you'd like. This is good if you are like a musician and you share your audio online. You can encrypt this kind of data in it that will stay with that audio file as it gets shared throughout the internet world, so that you always have like a credit on your creation. Or you can leave it blank. You can hit OK. It had a little export window there to show the progress, and it said it was completed. But then you'll also want to just save your project as well. So it's saying that you're going to save your Audacity project. This won't be an actual audio file, which is what we want. So if you have to go back in and edit something, you'll want to open up your Audacity project. And then you'll just save it. And then you're done.